Back on the Anglers Extra pregame show. Chatham getting set to take on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks for the second time in 2018. Cooper Boardman joined by our catch of the day today, Drew Mendoza of Florida State. Drew, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good. Now, you've been in Chatham for a couple of days. What's your experience been like so far?
Just kind of getting settled in. The weather's been beautiful. Gotten a chance to come out to the ballpark a couple times, so I've enjoyed it so far.
You're a Florida native. Weather a little bit different right now than it is at home?
Definitely. No humidity, which is really nice. A little breeze, which we don't really get too much. So, yeah, I've enjoyed it.
It's early. The humidity will come here on the Cape. Now, for the Florida State Seminoles this past spring, 300-plus hitter for a Noles team that ended up hosting a regional this spring. What was your experience like down in Tallahassee?
It's great, as always. I mean, I've grown up a Florida State fan, and that's what I've dreamed of doing. We had a great year as a team. Came up a little bit short of where we wanted to be, but we enjoyed every minute of it.
Now, you were a guy that was very highly touted out of high school, a top 40 prospect out of high school, a guy who would have been a top few rounds pick, at least in the Major League Baseball draft. You opted to go to Florida State, and in part that was because you, like you just said, you grew up going to games at Florida State, grew up a big fan. What else played into that decision? I
mean, my parents both went there. I've been going to games since I was a little kid. I've enjoyed watching guys like Buster Posey and J.D. Drew just, you know, prove the Florida State name right. Guys that have gone on to have great Major League careers, and you know, I wanted to have that college experience first and get my education.
Has it lived up to the hype?
Definitely, every bit of it.
Well, Florida State, one of the better teams in the entire country, and you've been a big part of that as well over the last couple of seasons. Everybody knows about the 2 home runs against North Carolina in the ACC Championship a couple of years ago, but also versus Louisville in the ACC Tournament this year. You had a walk-off against another North Carolina team as well this year. What really goes into you being a big-time performer for the Noles?
You know, it's just my teammates. You know, we all we're behind each other all the time. We're always cheering for each other, hoping the other does well. It's that Florida State mentality, just pulling for one another, and so far we've been able to enjoy a lot of good moments.
Not too bad. A freshman All-American at Florida State as well. The Florida State team that, like I said, has been really, really good. Then, after being a freshman All-American, you went out and played in the Cape Cod League for a little bit with the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox as well. What was your experience like? What did you learn here on the Cape?
I learned how much talent there is out there. I enjoyed playing for a majority of the summer on the Cape with Yarmouth Dennis. Learned a lot from their coaching staff, learned a lot from the players I was with. Just trying to take all those experiences and bring them with me.
You're in year number 2 here on the Cape after a strong sophomore campaign at Florida State. What are your goals for this 2018 season here in Chatham?
Just to do the same thing, keep gaining experiences from all parts of the country, you know, from different coaches, from different conferences all around the country, and just to improve my entire game.
Drew, thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Another guy who's always improving his game is Josh Schaefer. Let's throw it back over to him for more here on the Anglers Extra pregame show.